My name is David, and I worked overnight security at Walmart for almost a year before something happened that made me quit without ever coming back. Most people think security's easy, just sitting in a small office watching cameras or doing a few rounds. But they have no idea what it is like to be inside a superstore after 2 a.m. when the doors are locked, the fluorescent lights hum overhead, and the aisles stretch endlessly into darkness. That night started like any other. I arrived at 10:58 p.m., clocked in, and did my usual sweep of the floor, making sure all doors were secure and no employees were lingering. By 1:30 a.m., everyone else was in the break room or finishing restocks, leaving me alone in the security office with 32 camera feeds flickering on the monitors. Everything seemed normal until 1:50 a.m. when camera 8 in the pet supplies aisle flickered violently and then stabilized. At the far end of the aisle, a man appeared, standing perfectly still and staring directly into the camera. He wasn't moving. He wasn't shopping. He was just there. The store had been locked for hours, so there was no way a customer could have entered. My heart thumped against my chest. I radioed the floor team to see if anyone was in pets, but only static answered. When I glanced back at the monitor, the man had vanished. I told myself it was a glitch-old wiring, tired eyes, but the unease in my stomach refused to fade. I grabbed my flashlight and walked through grocery toward the aisle, my steps echoing louder than usual. The air felt colder with each step, and the fluorescent hum above me seemed to warp into a low, vibrating tone that made my ears ring. When I reached the aisle, it was empty. I exhaled and laughed nervously at myself, until a soft squeak stopped me. A shopping cart rolled slowly across the tile by itself, bumping gently against a shelf before stopping. I froze. No one was around. The lights above flickered twice before going out completely, leaving only the faint red glow of the exit signs and the blue reflection from the security monitors. My radio exploded with static, then whispered, almost too faint to hear, a slow, deliberate breathing that was not my own. I felt someone behind me. My body froze as the same man from the monitor materialized 3 feet away, closer than seemed possible. His face looked normal at first glance, but his eyes were completely black and unblinking, and his expression remained eerily neutral. He tilted his head slightly and said, in my own voice, "You missed something." The sound echoed unnaturally, like it was bouncing off invisible walls. I tried to speak, but my throat burned, dry and tight. The lights flickered violently, then snapped back and Andy was gone. I ran to the security office, tripping over floor mats and nearly dropping my flashlight, desperate to check the footage. The cameras showed only me standing in the pet aisle, alone for nearly 4 minutes, stepping backward as though someone or something was approaching. The timestamp repeatedly glitched to 2:13 a.m. My hand shook as I checked the emergency exit logs. The back door registered opening for 3 seconds at exactly 2:13 a.m. With no alarm triggered and no person recorded on any camera, that wasn't possible. It was impossible. But it had happened. I decided to review the footage again. That's when I noticed something I hadn't seen before. Shadows moving against the aisle walls at impossible angles, flickering like a reflection of something just behind me, but never fully visible. 1 second it was on the right wall, the next across the ceiling, and then it seemed to stretch behind me like long clawed fingers scraping the tile. I heard whispering in the monitor's static, too faint to understand, but it made my stomach curl and my skin crawl. I thought I was losing it until a red ball rolled out of nowhere across the floor, stopping at my feet. I stumbled back, staring at it. Then the intercom clicked, sharp and sudden, and a voice distorted, broken, almost childlike whispered, "David, you're still here." I froze, realizing no one else in the store could have used the intercom. My flashlight flickered as the shadows stretched longer and darker, crawling along the shelves toward me, and I felt the unmistakable sensation of being watched from every corner. I ran toward the exit, but the aisles twisted in ways that didn't make sense. The layout of the store seemed wrong. I passed electronics, grocery, and seasonal, and yet the pet aisle appeared behind me again, as if I hadn't moved at all. The faint echo of the man's voice whispered, "You can't leave." My breathing was ragged, panic overtook me. I made it to the front doors, tried to unlock them with my keycard, but the doors refused to open. The lights flickered violently one last time, and when they stabilized, the man was standing just outside the glass, smiling. Not a normal smile, a wide, slow, almost human but not human grin. I slammed the doors and ran to the office, panting, drenched in sweat, desperate to clock out. When I finally did, I saw my name still on the screen, marked, clocked in for 2:13 a.m. Even though it was nearly 3 o'clock, I left immediately and never returned. But sometimes, when I drive past that Walmart late at night, I slow down, glance through the darkened doors. I swear I see him standing there again, motionless, unblinking, waiting for me to finish the shift I never completed. And every time I check the clock after that, it's always 2:13 a.m.